Excellent. All right. So today we are privileged to have Eric Becker here with us from The Key, from Home Health Services, and he is going to give us a presentation on fall prevention. It's such an important topic. You'll notice here that the date on his title slide is not accurate. Kind of funny story to that I'll let Eric tell you. But I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Eric. Eric, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. So yes, the date is a little bit off. My wife and I just welcomed our other little girl into the world. And so my work cut off all form of communication with me because supposed to be on family paid time. So I wasn't able to edit the slides, but that should be the only thing that I would actually need editing. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Eric Becker. I work for The Key Home Care Assistance and Concierge Nursing. Wanted to talk to you guys about something that I'm so passionate about and just love helping others on this topic is fall prevention. And so I'll kind of go through a little bit about what we're going to be talking. First, I want to go over some statistics about seniors falling. Home safety considerations, and then we're also going to evaluate the home. So go through each room. We're going to go through the bathroom, bedroom, living room, outside, and then also talk about a little bit of Alzheimer's and dementia considerations, and talk about low to no cost solutions that can help staying healthy, and then also go a little bit through a medication review too. So let's go. So what this is, we're going to do talking about a little bit of assessment. It's also trust building. It talks about caregiver success and making sure not just caregiver success, but families aware of everything as well. And it's just a huge value add. It has a lot of engagement and personalization too. So a little bit about me. I am an occupational therapy assistant. I worked in the hospital setting for about 4.5, 5 years. That's where I really developed a passion for falls and preventing them. I saw a lot of my patients discharged from the hospital and then be readmitted within days. And I even had a couple that were readmitted within a couple hours of just discharging back to home. And so thanks. Oh, sorry. And that's where I became a home safety specialist, developed my own business, doing home fall preventions for people, and just kind of making sure there was more awareness for everything right now. All right, so let's go over a little bit about statistics. First off, I'm assuming a lot of people in this room are here because of you've known someone who falls, or you yourself have had a fall around
Numerous falls.
Numerous, yeah. So personally,
over 80.
Personally, there's a lot of falls that happen each year, and people are, for example, 1 in 3 individuals over the age of 65 fall in their home per year, and that just increases by over 80. It's half, and this is just reported falls too. A lot of falls go unreported. Falls are actually the leading causes of injury-related deaths, and 1 in 5 people will be over the age of 65 by 2030. That's 20% of the population. And so if the statistics keep going the way they are, it's going to be huge. And it's going to be 7 fall deaths an hour by 2030. And also another fun fact is 95% of hip fractures are due to falls.
Say that again, please.
95% of hip fractures are due to falls.
Hip fracture.
Yeah, hip fractures. Yeah. So now I want to kind of go over some like home safety considerations. First off, we'll talk a little bit about generalized home safety considerations, and then we'll go into each room by room. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about, one room, it has to go to the next room as well. So it's going to be a lot of repetitive stuff. For example, all rooms and hallways well lit with easy accessible light switches, motion detector night lights. We'll dive deeper into that as well. And then house and countertops free of clutter. Strategically placed chairs to take seated rest breaks in case someone is tired, in case someone is fatigued, stuff like that. A lot of what we go through too is our physiological changes. So for example, how many of you have stood up and got lightheaded or dizzy? Yep, that is your body telling you that it's not prepared to go anywhere at that point. You know, that's the technical term is called orthostatic hypotension, and that is a difference in elevation and where your blood pressure actually goes down. And so you want to wait a little bit, sit down, wait for that blood pressure to go back up. You stand back up, and that's when you can continue more. So that's why I talk about the strategically placed chairs. Some people will start walking, get that lightheadedness, dizziness, and need somewhere quickly to sit down at. All electrical cords in good condition and not under carpet, so they're not frayed, no fire hazards. And then don't overload outlets as well. And then water heaters set to 120 degrees. I know a lot of people who have neuropathy, and especially in their hands, feet, their extremities and everything. And putting with neuropathy, you can actually have scalding of your skin as well. So you don't feel the temperature being that hot, and you can actually be doing damage. All right. Let's go a little bit more. So make sure light switches are at entrance of the room, and then search out areas where there's glare or lighting or from the window. Use indirect lighting such as curtains and shades to help reduce the glare as well. All right. So let's talk a little bit about stairways. So handrails, they need to be on both sides of the stairs. And that way you have something to hold on to. The stairways need to be free of clutter, and then make sure all steps are easily visible, or consider using bright strips or reflective tape on each step kind of thing. A lot of people will put like grip tape on the outside steps or even inside steps to help people when they're walking too. And then obviously adequate lighting over the stairs too. And if you do have lighting, have light switches both at the top and the bottom as well. And then floors. So floors actually contribute to about 2 million falls per year. One of the things you can do, you want to keep the floors dry and free of clutter. How many, or who thinks that hardwood floor is better than carpet?
I like my hardwood floors.
You like your hardwood floors, yeah?
But they are more dangerous.
Yeah, hardwood floors are easier to clean, stuff like that, but also a lot more dangerous because that's where slips can occur.
And that's where you put a rug.
Yeah, but, oh, you don't get me started on rugs. So that brings me to the next point. Make sure all rugs are either removed or secured down to prevent falls. Rugs are the biggest tripping hazards for people. You know, when you're walking, not a lot of people have that foot clearance, and two, they would actually catch their toe on the rug and fall. And so those are actually one of the biggest tripping hazards that I would see in the hospital too.
Do you have a suggestion for mats in the bathroom?
In the bathroom, yes, and I'll go over that too.
Will
But for right now, there's things called double-sided tape. A lot of people, and I work with a lot of seniors, they don't want to move their rugs. That rug has been there for 40 or 50 years. They're not going to move that thing. So there's stuff that you can do just to kind of help prevent the falls, such as tack them down, nail them down. That way, if you do like catch your toe, it doesn't flip up. You can also do double-sided tape, and double-sided tape you can find at Home Depot, super easy, pretty cheap as well. Put it on the carpet and then make sure it sticks onto the ground. And I have that all over my house, and they don't move really at all. But there is still a risk for tripping over the rugs too. Yeah. So all electrical wires, we already talked about that. They're not on the floor, but along the edges of the walls. That way you're not tripping over wires as well. And then pet toys. Pets can be a huge tripping fall hazard.
These silly cats.
Yep,
You know?
especially with like if people have a walker, or if people are already having trouble with walking and they dart out right in front of you, you don't have the reflex to stop or anything like that. Also, they're food and water bowls. And so dogs and cats aren't that clean. They can't wipe their face up after drinking or eating, so it can go everywhere. I had knee surgery about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I think it was. And a week after, I was feeding my dog, and I actually slipped on the water. And I laid there I was okay. I laid there on the ground for a second, kind of laughing, like I'm a fall prevention specialist. I should have seen this happen. But it really shows that it can happen to anyone, and it can happen like that too. So another thing about floors, thresholds less than 1 inch. So thresholds have to do with that transition from like one area to another, like the living room to a bedroom. And if there's no step down, or if there's like a little lip or something like that, you want them to be less than 1 inch to prevent that tripping. It's almost like a carpet or a rug where you can catch your toe, catch your foot on it and trip over it. Any questions right now from either the chat or people in the room? Okay. All right. So doorways, there are things that you can do with doorways. For example, offset hinges on doors to add 2 inches of space for entry. A lot of people, when they go home, they may be in like a wheelchair or like a bigger walker, and that walker or wheelchair may not fit through. And so instead of taking the entire door off or changing out the entire frame, you can add this offset hinges, and it actually adds 2 inches of space where you can get the walker or the wheelchair actually in there too. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, outdoor safety. Cement and steps are even with no cracks. So how many people's driveway has cracks in it? Yeah. Okay. How many people have uneven surfaces when they're walking out? And Barbara, I'm looking at you because I know the brick is very uneven.
Yes.
So even like that's one thing I actually do worry about. Sorry, everyone. My aunt is actually in this room as well. She comes here for support too. So this is actually another thing why I love being here and doing this for everyone. And so, but that's one thing I do worry about too, is like in case later on in life you're walking with a walker or something like that. It's a pretty uneven surface. So yeah, and then stairs, they have handrails outside as well. And a table next to the door to set your purse down, even when you're unlocking the door or you have groceries that you're holding. Put stuff down. You don't have to hold everything all at once. I'm very guilty of that. I don't want to take 2 trips to the car when I'm getting groceries, but we're not in a hurry to do stuff. What's that?
I want to take 2 steps. I mean, I want to go 2
Two
trips.
trips, that's good.
So I get
though.
all
You
my
get more
steps in.
exercises.
Yeah.
That's good. I love that. But just having a door next, or having a table next to the door can help with that stuff. Yeah. Also, adequate lighting, motion detector preferably. And then street numbers are on your house are visible, just in case of an emergency. That way, fire department, police, whoever it is, know where they're going. Nowadays, with maps and everything, it's not that hard. But just it's better to have that visibility of a number. And then again, thresholds less than 1 inch. Or use of a ramp or grab bars even if you need to get into. So for example, you just don't need to have grab bars in your bathroom. You can have grab bars at your front door, at your back door, whatever it is to help you up and down from a step or a stair.
Shift.
Yeah.
Radiation green.
Yeah.
As you're a renter, are there any laws if you do have cracks in your cement area around your home? Do you know that offhand?
So
I mean, I can look it up, but
it depends on, because if you have like disability and you're actually like disabled, they have to be able to accommodate that stuff. Yeah. For renters, they should be able to accommodate that. But if you're not on disability, I don't know how far that would go. Kind of thing.
Fair housing
Fair housing.
might say, like in a condominium situation, that they have to allow you to pay to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something, in a common kind of area. That's the only thing I know.
Oh, gotcha. They have to allow it. Yeah.
They have to allow you, as long as it doesn't break anybody else's rights. Like, you can't put a ramp into the hallway, which would impede fire access.
Gotcha.
But you could put a disposable one or movable,
One that can be
move.
adjustable. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
so that
To make
it's
it
out of the
accessible.
way when you're not using it.
Gotcha. That's a great question. Thank you for that too, that answer. Any other questions? Outside safety, anything like that? No. Okay. One more. Oh, also realize how steep your driveway is as well, and mailboxes or trash cans go at the end of the driveway. At least for the most part. And so people have to walk down there. It can be uneven, it can be pretty steep. And if you have a walker, that walker can get away from you, especially if you have a 4-wheel walker. 4-wheel walkers, in my opinion, are one of the more dangerous ones. They're more for people who are more independent kind of thing. Just because a lot of people don't have the
Right.
reflex to put on the brakes. Exactly. Even though if they do have the brakes, if they're falling, they're gonna fall. The brakes aren't gonna help out that much. Any questions on that? Yep.
Oh, I did.
Yes.
When you're talking about the ramps.
Yeah.
You know, we live in the foothills here, many of us.
Mhm.
Is there anything you suggest other than like maybe a grab bar down your driveway? Cause a lot of people do have those
The
steep.
steep driveways.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could suggest is making like a step down, like avoiding the driveway and going like a step, like have a landing, step, landing. I hope that makes sense, kind of the
Yes,
way I'm saying it,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
But that's the only
On
thing
the
that,
sides,
yeah,
yeah.
because you would have to redo the entire driveway if you're gonna do that. Or
Or
just
have
have a
a
rail.
railing with
Yeah.
that tread, the yellow and black or whatever kind
Yeah.
you get tread to keep it when it's slick from rain.
Because what you could do exactly is have a railing that goes all the way down and then just have the grip tape. Is that what the kind of that yellow and
Yeah.
black grip tape you're
Uh-huh.
talking about? Yeah, that goes up and down too. And then you can even take it as far as having like motion detector lights right there as well. In case they're drops them off at night, stuff like that.
But don't walk on the yellow paint in the street when it's wet.
No,
That
it's
is
slippery.
slippery as heck.
Slippery,
I
very,
keep
very
asking them,
slippery.
what's wrong with you? Why
Yeah.
don't you put sand in it
I really
or
don't get
something?
it. Yeah.
I avoid
slipped
it like
a-
crazy.
I slipped at the hospital actually. That's very funny because I did pediatrics across the street, and so when it was raining, I had to run back over to the hospital. Completely slipped in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a problem in my house where I go from my garage into the hallway of my house. That's
Mhm.
my main entrance and exit. Route the front door is too far to walk. And if I were to put and so it's about this much of a step down.
Yeah.
If I were to put a ramp there, it would be in the way of the hallway.
Mhm.
Is there some other?
I would do a grab bar. Grab bar right there. That way you can hold on to and step
Where would I
up.
put the grab?
Do you have wood?
So it's a door frame,
Wood
right?
frame?
A door frame? Yes.
Yeah. I'll explain it after. I'll kind of go
So
through
I would put
everything.
it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I'll picture it and explain it after. No, you're okay.
No, that's helpful. Thank you.
But I do it.
Okay, so let's go through the bedroom now. And so, okay, all clothes easily accessible. You don't want to be reaching high or reaching low for anything. And then designate a chair to get dressed on. I had a lot of patients in the hospital who would try to do all their dressing while standing up. And after having like a knee replacement or a hip replacement, I'm like, you're swaying back and forth. Like, let's sit down. And as we age, our body goes through a lot of physiological changes. Our muscles get weaker, our bones get less dense, the flexibility is decreased as well. So just having a chair that you can sit down quickly at, just in case something were to happen. Not saying that you have to sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, but just in case. And then keep all floors and pathways free of clutter. That's one of the biggest tripping hazards is people walking around clothes or people tripping over clothes or shoes, dog toys as well. But that's just one thing. And then adequate lighting, easily accessible at the entrance too. And then how many people they sleep all night? They don't get up in the middle of the night to use a restroom, water, anything like that. Not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot. So when we're sleeping, we're gonna wake up, we're gonna use the restroom, we're gonna go get some water, have motion detector night lights. Because you could have the light switch at the front of the room and you're not gonna be able to see. And so just having at least some visibility when you get out of the bed, or just having a lamp right next to your bed that you can turn on too. And then keep a flashlight near the bed or nightstand just in case of an emergency, in case something were to happen, the power does go out. And then check windows for that they're easy to use as well. For example, the glare, or in case of an emergency, there's a fire or something like that. You want to make sure that they're working. And then bed covers. Bed covers are actually a very big tripping hazard too, especially with people with walkers. They can get caught in the wheels, or you can trip over them too. Bed covers is bed skirts. Sorry. People may know it better as in bed skirts.
Can I add one thing to your
Yes.
list?
Mhm.
Make sure your foot's not tangled in the sheets. I can't tell you how many
Yes.
people have started to get out of bed
When
and
they're getting
didn't
out of
pay
bed.
attention
Yep.
and they
And they fall
face
over.
down. Yeah.
Yep. And then one other thing that people can get to, if you're having difficulty getting on and off the bed, there's bed rails that you can buy on Amazon that just go right under the mattress, and they're pretty secure. They help people roll side to side too, and then help sit to stand as well. Okay, bathroom. Bathroom is the most likely place of a fall to occur. Okay, you have a lot of things going. There's water, there's tile, you usually don't have carpet in the bathroom for sanitary reasons. So you want to make sure that there's adequate lighting at the entry, sink, bathtub, and the shower. The motion detector night lights as well, and then non-slip bath mats in and outside of the shower too. You can get the non-slip, you can get the double-sided tape that you can put down outside of the shower. And then in the shower, you want something non-slip as well too. And then grab bars. Grab bars are so important. And they really do save lives. If you do get grab bars, please stay away from the suction cups. Those I've seen just pop off on people. Not every wall is flush. Not every wall, the surface is clean. For example, in the picture right there, you can see that part of the grab bar goes into the tile. So say if you had a suction cup, air pocket, you have water that can get in between, and the suction's not that good, it can pop right off. I've had patients where they've told me they're sitting in the living room and they hear a big thud in the bathroom. And that's without force or anything. Imagine someone trying to pull themselves up, because usually if you need a grab bar, you're going to use a lot of your weight or a lot of your strength to try to help yourself up. And so try to stay away from
to hold your balance when you're in the shower.
Yep, exactly. Just to hold your balance.
Yeah.
That's why you should also, if you're at, if you need the grab bar to hold your balance, I suggest having a shower chair as well. Shower chairs, even if you don't use it, for example, there's one in there that you can flip up and down, or just having something that's just stationed in there. Even if you don't use it, you have something for safety. Also, if you have a tub, there's what's called a shower bench. So a shower bench extends outside of the tub, so you can sit down outside and then bring your legs over. That way you don't have to lift your legs all the way over the tub if someone has like limited range of motion after like a knee surgery, hip surgery, or just any ailment. And then easily accessible faucets and easily accessible toilet papers as well. I actually had a patient at the hospital who said they fell forward trying to reach for the toilet paper, and it's because it was across the way. So it's just making everything easily accessible. All your commonly used items accessible, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, whatever, soap, everything. That way you're not reaching as much or going down below. Any questions on the bathroom?
I suggestion, when I had the grab bars put in,
Yeah.
I had the guy put in one much lower so that I could put my leg on it to shave. And I kept my balance. So I have the grab bar. This is on my thing.
Foot bar. That's perfect.
I agree with her. I put in a lower one in case I wanted to sit down in the tub. I would, if I changed my mind from shower to tub, I would have one down lower so I wouldn't smack my tailbone and break it or something.
You have something to help lower yourself down a
Yes.
little bit. That's smart. That's very smart. Yeah. There's so many different ways and so many, and that's what I love about it is you can really get creative on like the style of grab bars, the type of grab bars, and like how, personally, I really believe every single person is different. And then what works for one person may not work for the next. And so to find out what works for you, you just got to you got to try it and you got to figure it out. As long as safety is not compromised and everything, but placing grab bars on where you think where it would be beneficial, and then take advice from the experts on where they go as well.
I didn't quite understand about the wooden thing next to the tub, where you sit
Bench.
down and
The bench.
a bench.
Yes, yeah. So it's called a shower bench. It almost looks like a shower chair, but
It's for the shower or the tub?
The tub.
tub.
Okay.
Tub,
I
yeah.
had one for my dad and it worked really, really good. He was elderly.
I just don't understand what
Hospice
it
provided.
does.
So
It
two
slides
legs stick outside of the tub, and two legs are inside of the tub. So
Okay.
they can sit down outside. They don't have to lift their legs
Oh.
over the tub to get in. They can sit down outside and then scoot back and then bring the legs over.
Not stepping, swinging legs.
I wish I had a picture of it. That way I can show everyone as well.
If the table was the bench,
Hmm.
those two legs are in the tub?
So these two legs would be in the tub and these two legs would be outside.
Okay,
So they
so
would
I'm
sit down
sitting here
outside.
facing that way.
And then they would turn around and then kind of scoot over. I can show you a picture after.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
Eric, I have a question.
Yeah.
My brain, I swear.
it's okay.
Don't worry,
No, it's not. Hang on.
We have chemo brain.
we all know
It's
what it is.
radiation brain. Oh, approval. Is there any grab bars or when you're looking for things, like a fire extinguisher, it's got the certain approval. Are we supposed to look at that and know like it's whatever, approved by the,
It depends on who installs them. Usually all grab bars are gonna be pretty much like ADA compliant and everything about
Okay,
that,
so
but it's who installs them and how they install them. Because you want them built in correctly. For like in most grab bars, they go up to 250, like 400, 500.
but is there any like
sometimes.
type of like, you know how fire extinguishers, I don't know what it says on it, but fire extinguisher has to
No,
be
I don't
Yeah,
think-
it has to be
approved.
approved kind of thing, is like a stamp. I don't think there's an official
Oh,
seal or a
safety,
stamp
wow.
or anything like that.
Wow.
Yeah, because a lot of people will get their grab bars like off Amazon and then have a contractor come out and have them installed.
But having it installed so it doesn't rip out.
It doesn't rip out. That's the most important part. Yeah.
That's weird that
like
it's
where it
not
is.
certified like
No,
any
wait,
type of.
it doesn't have, it's pretty
They're not
simple
regulated.
device, really.
And usually the people who do the installations, like for example, I have a grab bar guy. He has grab bars like for days. And, you know, so like with that stuff, you really wouldn't have to worry about that. It comes down to the contractor to make sure.
Yeah, I think
everything's good.
the installation's the key on
Yeah.
those.
That's the biggest part. Yeah. All right, so let's keep going. Let's go to the kitchen. So again, non-skid mats on the floor. Sink is easily reachable and can control, and then you can control the temperature, like I said, for the neuropathy. Stable and steady step stool. So if you do need a step stool, make sure that it's good and it's not wobbly or anything. And then land surfaces for hot cookware. So have something, if you do have a pot that you can place down and you know where exactly to put it. All items visible and reachable, including appliances, and then proper ventilation, fire extinguisher full and working, and then don't wear loose fitting clothing while cooking as well. And then it goes back to the liquid on the ground. Make sure that there's no spills or anything like that. There's no rugs on the ground as well too. Okay.
And pot holders.
And pot, yeah, pot, yeah, you don't want those on the
Or a
ground
piece
too.
of butter.
Yeah. All right. A little bit more for kitchen. You can install Singer action lever faucets instead of a turning knob. You can just do like a full knob, a little bit easier. Different handheld devices to use as well. And so if you do have trouble with gripping, if you do have trouble with neuropathy, there's different devices and tools that you can pick things up with. And then you can also have a wheeled cart for transporting food or other items. Instead of going back and forth from the fridge, back and forth to the counter, you can just put it all in the cart, bring it over to the counter, put it all in. That way it eliminates the back and forth, unless you want to get your steps in, of course. And then unplug the stove or appliances if you're not in use. And then be careful of water around the refrigerator or freezer too. Okay. All right, laundry. Again, it kind of goes along the same things, easily accessible light switches, clutter-free. Laundry supplies are easily reached as well. My wife likes to put all of the cleaning supplies up top and asks me to get them down every time. I'm like, why don't we just put it lower?
And the kids are down there.
Yeah,
then
that's
it
true,
won't
that's true,
spill
yeah,
A
that's
little
all.
bit on you.
And then appliances are in working order and then connected to a GFCI outlet. GFCI outlets are if there's water detected, they turn off. Yeah. Controls are easily reachable, and then non-slip floor mats as well. And there also is washing machines and dryers that you don't have to bend down and look under.
Yeah.
What?
I was just saying, yeah, they're built up on.
You can put them actually.
Yeah.
There's ones that you can put on counters now, so you don't have to reach down and get the stuff out of the dryer. You can just have everything on the countertop too. Makes it a lot more easier instead of looking over as well. What you can do is put a mirror, and then that way you can look down, make sure water is draining, whatever it is.
What is the GFCI?
That's like an outlet. So it's a certain type of outlet. It's usually for any type or anything in the kitchen. where there's like a lot of water going.
And
Or
when
bathrooms.
Detected. Yeah, or
and it's
bathrooms too.
installed in the.
They're already
wall?
usually already installed in the walls. Yeah,
Okay, no,
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Electrical outlet, you can have it changed to one.
yeah.
They made us do it in our laundry room, even though that means it interrupts front floor, but
Over.
the insurance companies like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wheeled carts again. We talked about placing a mirror, and then consider a small washer dryer that can be placed on the counter. And then grab bars near steps and in the laundry area. A lot of people will put the laundry in the garage. And so helping in and out, just having a grab bar to help in and out of that step too. And then, yeah, any questions on laundry? All right. Allison, do we have anything in the chat for questions?
No, nothing in the chat. This has been
Yeah.
really helpful hearing everyone else in the room and their questions.
Perfect. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, please light it up. And then,
Yeah, I have a question. I wonder if there is recording you can send out later.
I know we are recording this, yes.
Yes, it'll be posted on our website within a couple of weeks.
Great, thank you.
All right, so let's talk about living room, family room. Again, adequate lighting, making sure everything is easily accessible, and sturdy furniture to get in and out of too. You don't want sunken in couches. You don't want a sunken in armrest or anything to make it difficult. If you do have like a sunken in chair or a sunken in couch and you can't afford to get a new couch or anything like that, there's stuff that you can do, like put like a 2x4 or a piece of wood under the chair to prevent this sinkiness and kind of raise you up a little bit. Also, windows open and easily lock easily. Area rugs removed or secured to the ground. That's a picture of the double-sided tape that I found. And then there's really good ones at Home Depot too. That's very, very sticky too.
Do you take that tape up to clean?
Yes.
You can, yeah.
You can.
And I actually suggest redoing the tape every like 3 to 4 months. Just because dirt, stuff like that, the adhesive cannot stick as well. So I suggest kind of redoing it. Maybe you can stretch it to 6 months, but yeah. Tables with rounded edges, just in case someone were to fall, just having a rounded edge or something, just in case they were to hit their head. I unfortunately had a patient at the hospital whose caretaker was his wife, and she tripped over a rug and fell on the coffee table and hit her head and passed away. And so it like I said, it can happen to anyone, but just want to do as much as possible to kind of help prevent it. And then making sure there's 32 inches of clearance around objects or tables, in case you do have a walker, in case you do have a wheelchair. That way you can do a full 360 in whatever device you're using and not hit anything else. All right. So let's talk about a little bit of Alzheimer's and dementia considerations. And so again, safe and clear pathways, label commonly used items or commonly places as well, like bedroom. This is your bedroom. This is the bathroom. That way, if they are going throughout the house, it kind of helps them navigate where to go. And create a familiar and calming environment. And so, for example, I say this to a lot of people if they're taking like a loved one and transitioning them into like a senior living community or transitioning them into their home. You want to make sure that the environment was set up to where they were before to make it more familiar to them, and it actually helps calm them. So, for example, taking their bedroom, placing the bed exactly where it was before, or as much as possible kind of thing, and orient their clothes to where they were so they know where they're going. Label door frames, and then limit contrast of colors too. Alzheimer's and dementia, they have a hard time distinguishing, especially like white versus black. If there's a white tile and a black tile, they look at the black tile as like a hole that they can fall into. So they only try to step on the white tiles. And so for example, that happens a lot in bathrooms where you have like different contrasts of tiles and everything. It can just kind of, it can trigger a person with Alzheimer's or dementia. Also making sure that they're smoking while supervised, locking the doors. when I say locking the doors, I'd say
Smoking while supervised.
if someone with Alzheimer's or dementia is a smoker,
Okay.
like if you're a family member, watch them while they're smoking.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, just in case they
Okay.
fall asleep or they
Okay,
just
look
put
for
it
it.
down and forget
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they put
yeah,
it and
yeah,
walk
yeah.
away. Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
Okay.
And then locking all the doors. And so I don't suggest leaving someone at home, locking all the doors, and then going to the grocery store. Because if there's an emergency and they how do they get out of the house kind of thing. If you were at home and the person or your family member, whoever it is, has Alzheimer's and dementia, that's when you can lock the doors to prevent them from going out. If you don't want to lock the doors, get door alarms. So that tells you when they walk out the front door, when they're doing that. And for example, I had a client who he is in his late 70s, has dementia, and he likes to work out. He will squat about 180 pounds. He'll just go into his garage, pick up his bar, and squat 180 pounds. And the wife doesn't even know he's doing it. And so one of the things, we just put a bell at the top of the door. And so at least the wife can observe him doing something, because if you try to redirect, he gets a little angry. And so it's better just to watch him what he's doing, because right now he's safe, but maybe later on he may not be. And so that's why we put that bell up there. Door and bed alarms. So you can even put bed alarms as well if someone's getting in and out of the bed and they are of a fall risk. And for example, if they had a hip replacement or a knee replacement and they don't have full weight bearing, someone with Alzheimer's and dementia may not remember that. So they may try to get up out of bed and their legs not the way they used to be and they could fall. So having that bed alarm is very helpful. And then harmful objects locked and put away: knives, razors, weapons, and alcohol as well. All right, let's talk about a little bit no costs and a low cost solution. So no cost, removing the rugs, opening blinds and curtains for natural lighting, unless there's glare. All electrical cords along the walls, remove clutter, and then setting the water heater to about 120. And then low cost solutions, highest watt bulbs for more lighting, double-sided tape under carpets, and then installing those offset hinges for the adding 2 inches to the door. And then easier light switches, motion detector night lights to and from the bathroom, D-shaped handles on cabinets, drawers, makes you grab easier. For example, I work with a lot of people with rheumatoid arthritis, and so twisting motions can be very difficult, or just like or grabbing motions as well. So just having them put in their hand with this D-shaped handles, or when I was talking about changing out the faucets too. Grab bars installed, and then a handheld shower head as well. That way you can just pop it off and you can just shower yourself. All right, so what can you do to help prevent falls? Proper footwear. Also, we talked about the physiological changes that your body goes through. And so I always suggest having your vision checked every 6 months or a year. But just regular checkups on your vision, regular checkups from your doctor, and then also knowing your medications. Medications are one of the biggest risk factors for falls. There's actually 3 main ones. There's environmental factors, which we just all went over. That's like the environment, the rugs, what you can do for the bathroom, shower, everything like that. The physiological changes that your body goes through, the muscle fatigue, bone density, and then also your medications as well. And so especially if you take more than 3 or more medications, some medications may interact with another medication poorly. And so that's when you can have like that orthostatic hypotension or that lightheadedness and dizziness when you do stand up. And so anyone in this room or on the chat, has anyone heard of people balancing medications? Like, oh, yeah, they need to balance their medications, or they're at the hospital, they need to understand my meds before they discharge me. Kind of thing. They're just trying to make sure that the medications, yeah, they interact well together. And then also time changes everything too. For example, you may have a good reaction to a certain medication for like 10, 15, 20 years, and then that can be completely changed within like a day. And then you have to go back and talk to your doctor. What are other options that we can do, kind of thing. And then also just being active helps prevent falls. 30 minutes of moderate exercise per day. And moderate exercise can just be walking. You know, I know my aunt loves to go to the Arboretum, and so just walking around there, and it's so important. Helps out with your balance. It helps out with your strength. Helps out with your posture, and it helps out with your cardio and pulmonary health as well. So it's just light exercise, whatever you can do. There's a saying for rehab: every day we spend in the bed, it takes 3 days to regain that strength. And so every day you spend in bed, it takes 3 days to regain that strength. Yeah. And so say someone who had COVID and they were on a ventilator and they were in bed for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and didn't even move. That's a long time it's going to take them to regain that strength back. And it shows. It truly is hard. Even after we have like a flu or the cold or something like that, and I'm completely done with it, the next day I'm like, oh man, I'm so tired. It really takes a lot out on you. And so just keeping up with at least those 30 minutes of moderate exercise. Okay, so I like to go through this too. It's kind of like a medication example. Basically, what I want you guys to focus on is the middle, the mechanism for falls. On the left side, we're going to have the medication class, and that's going to be all your big words, the alpha receptor blockers, anticonvulsant agents, antidepressant, antihistamines. But take a look at the middle. Hypotension, confusion, dizziness, confusion, blurry vision, sleepiness. There are a lot of different side effects that can occur when you're taking these medications. And say you're taking a medication from the ACE inhibitors, and you're also taking an antidepressant medication, and you're also taking an opioid agent. So a lot of these risk factor, a lot of these side effects, it has a more chance of occurring. So I just like to give that as an example of kind of what the medications can do to us and our bodies as well. Biggest thing is if you do feel any difference in yourself after taking a medication, if you do feel that lightheadedness, dizziness, fatigue, blurry vision, you have slowed movement or anything, talk to your doctor about it. Okay.